Thanks for joining me. In this video, I'll discuss whether I think Ethereum will reach $1,000. And also, guys, I came across an offer that I wanted to share with you. So Ledger wallets are currently offering 21% off their Ledger Nano S. It's an offer as part of a Black Friday special. And I've never seen these go on sale, so if you haven't got one, definitely look into it. With the sale, it's a no-brainer, and it's definitely something you should look into if you haven't got one. I've provided a link in the description. So it's a pretty exciting time at the moment for Ethereum holders, and the reason for this is we're currently sitting at 475 or 480 US dollars, and finally broken an all-time high. So previously we've tested 400 or 410 on two different occasions, but failed to break out with the resistance and had a major correction down to 200 to 250, and we've sort of been stuck at 300 for quite some time. So I think there's a big sigh of relief for anyone who's been holding Ethereum, especially those who bought into Ethereum around the all-time highs previously, around the 380 to 400 mark, seeing their investments going down to 200. And I applaud anyone who's been holding out up until now. We know crypto is an interesting space. It's highly volatile, but if you believe in the technology, chances are it's going to come back and do even better. Will Ethereum reach $1,000? Well, yes and no. I think in the short term, we probably won't see $1,000. However, you know, early next year, mid next year, $1,000 is definitely on the cards. In the short term, I have a price target for Ethereum at about $600 to $650. I think there will be a bit of a pullback. Now, a common question, especially when we see a lot of these highs in cryptocurrency, you know, Bitcoin reaches a new high or Ethereum reaches a new high, especially as a new investor, you see these prices and you've been eyeing coins, but you're not sure of what's a good entry point, and then you start taking notice as it goes up. People FOMO in and they start asking questions like, is it too late to invest in cryptocurrency? Now, this is something I sort of really want to address, and I can sort of relate to, and anyone who has started out in cryptocurrency definitely can relate to. It's your emotions come in when coins that you've been watching goes to a certain price, and you feel like you'll miss out if you don't buy in. Now, what I would say is, for anyone who's starting out, the answer to is it too late to invest in cryptocurrency is no. So if you it's at such its infant stages that the technology hasn't even proven itself, and even though it's super interesting technology, it isn't reached a point where the masses have adopted the technology, and a lot of the technology is just speculation. So if you understand this, this will help you sort of invest your money without letting your emotions get in the way. So obviously someone who's investing 5% or 10% of their income compared to someone who's investing and a smaller amount compared to someone who's investing a large sum, say, you know, maybe it's 1,000 or 10,000 or more, your approach would be different. So if your question is whether you should invest a large amount, I would say if you are going to invest a large amount, well, then maybe you should consider using a pyramid approach. So maybe it's not a good idea to put all that money in at once. So if you put a portion of it, say 20% or 30% of it, and you continue to buy as the price increases. Now, hear me out. I've been thinking about this quite a bit lately, and I think that a lot of people, you know, understand that it's important to buy low and sell high. However, I've started to think that it might actually be a better idea to buy as the price increases and average up rather than averaging down on a technology that hasn't proven itself. Now, there are two benefits to averaging up rather than averaging down. So one is you're going with the momentum, so the stock is already going up, so any gains that you initially had will be compounding with your new purchases as the cryptocurrency proves itself. Now, the second benefit is as the price increases, the technology is starting to prove itself, and you've got confidence in knowing that look, the price has gone up, and it's because there has been development in the technology. And if it isn't because of that, then you probably shouldn't be in that investment anyway. And this mostly applies to investments where you believe in the technology long term, and you're not just in there to trade and make a quick profit from it. Now, sorry about that rant, and but I really think that it's a good idea to average up and buy as coins reaches new highs, and also obviously buying on dips and just holding. If you're a swing trader and you're looking to hold or make a trade and enter an exit position in a shorter time frame, say like 2 or 3 months or by the year's end, then I would say maybe buying at all-time highs is probably not a good approach. So buying Ethereum at the moment, if your plan is to hold for 2 or 3 months, might not be the best trade. But personally, I would say buying Ethereum at $500 or less at this point is a good idea. I've got quite a large holding in Ethereum at $300, and I was going to buy more. However, due to not having the funds available, I've bought more recently at 470, and some of you might think this sounds quite risky. However, for that newer portion that I've purchased, I'll be purchasing more even if it drops further. So that's sort of my approach. I believe that we'll reach $600 within the next week, and probably see a correction or pull back down to $500, at which point I'll consider buying more. If you're looking for a short-term trade, there might be an opportunity to buy now at between 450 and 500, and setting a stop loss at 420, where we've sort of broken out, and sort of limiting your downside. But I think there's potential for a great upside. Now, I sort of want to discuss what's happening in cryptocurrency on the wider in a wider sort of sense. We've seen Bitcoin since my last video rally from 7,800 to 8,000 to 8,300. Now, it's been in this really tight range for the entire week, so we've seen it sort of look like it's going to break out and then sort of hit 8,350 and then drop back down to 8,200, slowly drift down to 8,100, 8,000, and then going back up to 8,300, and it's sort of just going up and down, up and down. I still believe that there will be money coming in as speculation increases around the CME futures. Now, there was a recent article saying that CME futures will be announced, and this was on their website on December 11th. However, they've come out and said that basically this was the incorrect day, and that they still will be launching the CME futures, but it will be at a later date, sometime before the end of the year, but they haven't specified exactly what date. Now, they probably have their reasons, and maybe they're trying to reduce the speculation, but regardless, I still think, as I said in my last video, that Bitcoin will reach 10,000 by the year's end, and it might still be an opportunity to buy in. However, I could be wrong. So do your own research and know how much you're willing to risk. What else is happening in the market? So we've seen Dash reach all-time highs too. So it's reached $600. It's really rallied from 380. So anyone holding Dash would be really happy at the moment. What other things? So we're seeing Bitcoin Cash sort of with the extra volatility sort of dip down and sort of gone up, and it's sitting comfortably around the 1500 USD mark. The total coin market cap now, we've seen it gradually increase to now 260 billion total market cap. Bitcoin's got a dominance of about 51 to 52%. It's slowly losing its dominance as some of these other coins like Ethereum and Dash gain momentum. Now, will altcoins start to pick up from here? I'm not too sure, but I do think Bitcoin will continue to rally to 10,000 by the year's end. However, there could be a very big correction for Bitcoin down to 7,000 or 7,500, and I would be looking at getting your buys in here if you're looking to hold long term. It's Saturday here in Australia, in Melbourne, but I believe today is Black Friday in America, and there have been a lot of sales, and typically this has been a bad time for cryptocurrencies in the past. However, this year seems like as a whole the market is still rallying and increasing, and I think this boils down to the increased attention and promotion and the media around Bitcoin. And we're seeing a lot of press releases around predictions. We've got predictions of 100,000, and we've got people from Wall Street saying that it's fraud, like JP Morgan. But then on the other hand, you know, he's the guy, I forget his name, from the CEO from JP Morgan has come out and said that they will be providing a way for their customers to invest into the CME futures. So it's sort of interesting that he's called it, on one hand called it a fraud, but then on the other hand has said that he's going to provide an avenue for his customers to invest in Bitcoin. So yeah, look, other than that, in my previous video I did say that I was expecting a wider market correction, and based on past history or performance, it does seem like we're due for correction. Now I'll show you this in I'll show you this here. So if you see the pattern, we've sort of seen the coin market, total market, even without Bitcoin in the picture, sort of rise to about 120 and then down to 60 and then up to about 200, down to 130, and now we're sitting at 300, right at that mark where, sorry, it's not 300, at 260, and it looks like we have a little ways to go, and then there will be a wider correction. But look, this could be wrong. What do you guys think? Do you think that there is a correction on its way? Will Bitcoin have a big correction while alts finally have a big rise, or is it a possibility that we'll see Bitcoin and alts and money sort of going out of cryptocurrency in the short term? Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll post another one soon. Thanks for watching.